We're going to start on time because this will be a 2-hour class. So there are 12 people that may show up late. So we'll see. I'll just confirm that you know how people are. Some people don't show up on time. So I'm going to shut these doors so then we can stare at them when they walk in. One more. We'll wait to show them.
Let's just clap when they walk.
I won't stay in here.
Several people are going to be like, we'll see.
I'm doing
We'll give
it.
Christine a hard time too. Christine got it.
Let's just apply it.
She'll always be late.
All right, Mary, I need you to come to the front.
Damn, I told
Yeah,
you.
it was going to happen. It was going to happen.
I told you. I said, he's gonna make you sit up there.
Hi, Holly, how are you?
You know, when I was a kid, I had that very bad vision, so I always had to sit in the front row, and I
Did
spent
you?
the rest of my life sitting in the back.
Sorry to make you uncomfortable.
That's all right. No,
No, Steve. Off
That's
to a
what I'm
good
here
start.
for. We can
Yeah,
be
right?
comfortable.
Off to a great start.
So first of all, thank you very much for coming this morning. I really do appreciate it. You guys made a decision to be here, and I appreciate you making that decision. So some of you guys know me, some of you guys don't. Some of you just met the first time. So thanks again for coming. I want to thank Holly Schuler, First American Title, guys. She's awesome. She's going to give her a few minutes to talk about herself. She'll take the whole class, but we're going to give her 5 minutes. As much as you want.
Okay, so anywho, this is about me. No. I appreciate you guys being here, and this is a great opportunity. If you guys have not spent time with Steve, he's an excellent coach. He's almost as good as me, so I really appreciate that. But yeah,
Yeah, it's really nice.
he actually has handouts today, which is a big plus. Hi.
Yeah, I don't think
You can see
so.
my puppies. Oh, and whoever does the best gets a dog at the end of the day, so that's great. You get a dog, you get a
Sit over
dog.
there
Um,
next to Grant in the cup.
Oh.
But with First American, we pride ourselves on innovation and making sure we have the technology and the resources to help you grow your business. And the market is shifting. So I hope all of you guys are getting comfortable with social media marketing. I think we're going to cover that one class.
We will. We will.
Yeah. Who all in here does videos? Not those kind of
You've done a good
videos.
job, by the way.
Oh, well, that's going to be a big thing. So, but I appreciate you guys being here. If y'all need anything, just let me know. I'm going to go babysit
Do
my
it, dogs. All right.
I know. What am I going to do?
Yeah, if you guys don't do business with Holly Schuler, First American Title, you need to give her a chance, man. I'll tell you what, fantastic team, fantastic staff. They go above and beyond. Remote closings. I mean, I can tell you our team uses them as much as we possibly can. Great group. So, thank you very much. Holly. Absolutely. Really appreciate you.
All right. Remember, don't forget your dog. Everybody gets a dog when you think.
Oh, man. Okay, so for those of you who came a little bit late, that one piece of paper that you have, you've got 2. Take one, and I want you to write how you feel about coming into the class this morning. I want you to be 100% honest. If you're tired, you didn't want to be here, I don't really care. I want you to write down exactly how you feel about coming to class this morning. Once you guys are done, fold it in half and slide it all the way to your left. While we're doing that, I'm going to talk about kind of what we're going over today. So the name of this series of classes, it's a 12-month project, 1 class a month. I'm going to give you guys the entire schedule for the year. So I want to set a precedence with you guys. Some of you know me, some of you know my style, some of you guys don't. You kind of know of me. Some of you we've never met, and that's okay. I'm a very direct kind of guy. Okay? So you guys are here because you want to do something different in your business. Right? You want to grow that business. You want to see success that you haven't seen before. There's always some kind of challenge or whatever it is that you have out there that you want to see come to fruition. We can help you get to that fruition, 100%. Okay? I have 100% confidence in our ability to get you to a point where you're very comfortable in what your income looks like. Okay? So years past, as we've taught these classes, I've added some more classes to this since then. 100% of the agents that have completed all 12 classes have been in $1 million in production a month at 12 months. So there's challenges, yes ma'am.
Is that without social media? Maybe.
That is including social media. There are parts that you're going to be doing that may make you uncomfortable.
No, I mean, I can't.
Right? Well, what you're talking about social media we'll visit about later, but that's not necessary for what we need to do. Okay? So she has a problem with groups. We don't use groups in social media for this
Don't
purpose.
use them.
Right. So the thing about these classes is the first class is open invitation. Every other class that you come to is simply you have to complete tasks to get to class number 2, to get to class number 3. Okay? So the reason we do it that way is the goal here is to figure out who's really serious about their business and who is not as serious about their business. Okay? Now we all have decisions that we can make. We can decide not to come to class. We can decide not to do the challenges that we give you guys, and that's perfectly fine. But a year from now, if your business is the same as it was before, because you're not attending these things or you're not changing your mindset, you've decided, you made that decision to be accepted, be acceptable with that, right? So I'm gonna give you guys a handout. Now, first of all, are you sitting next to somebody you don't know, for the most part? Okay, please don't open any pages on these handouts yet. Right? So, in this class, it is going to make you uncomfortable. Okay? And I'm going to do that for a very defined reason. Because we have to figure out where we stand now and where we need to go. Okay? So, the one thing that I do ask in this class is you to be 100% honest. All right? You're going to be partnering up, you're going to be pairing up. This is going to be a lot of activity in this class that you guys are probably not used to in other classes that you do. Oh, man, good seeing you this morning. Yeah, good. Oh, thanks, you too, man. Looking very svelte. You need one too? All right.
I want one, yeah.
All right. Working days. Svelte. I've known Ryan since he was born, so I like to give him a hard time. That's the thing that we do. So, okay, so we've got all these cards here. So, one more thing before we start. The name of this class is Building Realtor Income by Coaching to Success. So, no cell phone usage, no laptop usage, right? I'm going to give you guys respect. I'm taking my time to make sure that we teach you guys. I'm asking you to give me the time as well. Do not skip pages on these documents that I just gave you. Stay on the page that we're on, please. And so, again, this class is not meant to make you feel inadequate. That's feeling, Lisa, absolutely. But it is designed to challenge you. Okay? And the key for you guys to get something out of this class is you have to be 100% honest. Okay? If you're fluffing, if we're doing any of that stuff, you're not going to get anything out of this. Okay? And so you'll understand as we go on what this means, but there's going to be some challenges that you guys are going to have to really step up to the plate and see what we can get done. Okay? So let's read a couple of these real quick before I move on.
I have a stack right here too.
You do? I probably won't have to get to that stack, but we're going to see. I'm looking for a couple of very specific
We can
ones.
read them later.
Yeah. So, all right. Hopeful and clear, which is great. Hopeful. All right. So far, so good. We're pretty positive. I like that. We're going to find one here at the side. Okay. These people are way too positive.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Looking forward to sharing what I can learn with the team. And okay. Excellent. Yeah. Really? Nobody's making it about this? Okay, that's good. I'm going to use examples from our previous class then. If you guys aren't, I'm glad you guys are this way. I used to have a class and I had like 6 people say I'm tired, right? And so, and that's great. Huh?
The dogs.
Yeah, the one who play the dogs.
Oh my gosh,
She's playing hardball out there.
She is. She's probably playing with all kinds of them for sure.
She
So
positive.
everybody here has been very positive, and that's great. I didn't find anybody that was negative on anything that I read so far. The reason I wanted to point this out to you guys is if you're hopeful and you're excited about a class, you're going to be a lot more likely to learn something from that class. Okay? And so the reason that's important is when you go to something and you're going to be challenged, right? Some of you guys in your mind right now are like, that's going to make me uncomfortable, right? And so social media is an example. I get that all the time. How is this class different from all the other classes? I like this one. We're going to find out real fast how different this class is. So the thing for you guys is to have a very open mindset as we continue to move forward on this. So your documents, we're going to be taking some notes, but there's going to be a lot of role playing as we continue to move forward. Does anybody have any questions before we get started? Okay. All right. Let's get started. I've already gone over slide 1. Respect, please silence your cell phones. We're here to help you build your business. There's only one goal that I have in mind for this class. Just one. And that's to help you build your business. That is it. Okay? Just commit to me, to work with me as we go through this, and you're going to find that we're going to build that business for sure. Just be open-minded. All right. Let's go to the next one. Sometimes computers work great, sometimes they don't. So who can give me the definition of mindset? Who knows what that is? What is that blank that's there?
The belief that you have.
Beliefs. Okay. What else? Close. There's a word that is interchangeable with mindset.
Expectations.
Okay, that's close. Attitude. Who said attitude? Great job. That is exactly what it is. So attitude is interchangeable with mindset. The established set of attitudes held by someone. Established is really interesting because let me hear our parents. Okay, right? Our kids have plenty of attitude, right? So they learn that from their friends, from their family, from whatever. They've established these things. I mean, there's words that they say I've never even heard of before. And they learn this from their friends, and they think that's rule. And so a lot of things that we come up with regarding mindset and the way that we act about a class or about a situation or about our kids or family or friends, it's all established because we learn that from our parents as well. right? Some of that's good, right? You can't choose your family. Some of it's bad. So just keep that in mind as we're moving forward about attitude and mindset can be interchangeable, right? Two types of mindsets. Can anybody tell me the two different types of mindsets?
Maybe habit and control thought.
Well, they're on your next page, so we're going to give it to you. So fixed and growth, right? Now, tell me what, so let's go over fixed mindset for just a second. Lisa, can you read that for me, please? The very first paragraph. And the answers are up there too, buddy.
Fixed mindset. In a fixed mindset, people believe their basic qualities are simply fixed traits and use their performance to document those traits.
All right. So, can anybody tell me the definition of insanity?
Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different outcome.
AKA fixed mindset. Okay? So, if your mindset stays the same throughout the entire time that you're in business, as a parent, whatever it may be, and you're getting the same results over and over and over, that's because you have a fixed mindset. It's become ingrained in you, it's become a habit, and therefore you're going to continue to do it. Okay? Because it feels natural. But what people don't realize is because of that natural, because of that ingrained mindset, they never grow. Okay? So let's talk about the next one. Let's see. Mary, why don't you read the next definition for us? I'll get it up on the board. Growth mindset.
In a growth mindset, people believe that their most basic abilities can be developed and improved upon, which creates a lot of learning and resilience.
All right. So who loves to learn here? Some do, some don't. I get it. Trust me. School is not fun for me. I didn't enjoy that at all. So we've got to have an outlook on life. We're constantly looking at ways to grow. Okay? So for example, if somebody tells you, I want to have a listing appointment at 6 a.m., Lisa, how does that make you feel? Not good, right? You're thinking, man, I want to sleep. Who wants to meet at 6 a.m. in the morning? Right? Who wants to do that? Mary, how does that make you feel if it's at 6 a.m. in the morning?
I'm not loving the morning. I'm not loving the morning, but if they're willing to meet with me, I'm there.
Right. If they're there, they're okay, 6 a.m., right? Now you have no idea why they say 6 a.m. They may work nights, who knows, right? Would you attend the meeting? There's a challenge, right?
Well, I would give them options.
Okay. Lisa, I cannot meet at any time at 6 a.m. Okay. Would you attend the meeting?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm on the call. We're going to stop here for just a second because I'm really curious about that. All right. So I'm the listing. I'm the seller. Okay. And so we're going to challenge Ryan to this, and we're going to challenge Grant to this. Same time, 6 a.m. Hey Ryan, my name's Steve. I've got a house I want to sell. I can only meet at 6 a.m. this morning. Can you make it?
Well, hey, Steve, thanks for reaching out. How long have you been looking to sell your home?
Hey Ryan, I've only got a couple minutes on the phone. I just need to know if you can meet me at 6 a.m.
What location?
It's in South Austin, at the White Oak Hill.
Which neighborhood do you live in?
I don't know what the neighborhood down there. We'll just say Johnson neighborhood. Doesn't matter.
Which price point is this in?
Oh, see, now we're, so think about that for just a second. You're now establishing whether or not it's worth the money for you to go to the meeting.
Well, I also want to run the show in my business, not have my client run the show.
Which is true, which I understand. So the thing what I'm trying to get you to think about here for just a second is, if I'm the listing, if I'm the guy that's selling my house, am I judging you based on your comments?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. If you ask me, how much is this going to sell for?
Wow.
Which
I
I
would know
get.
that if I would have known.
I know. I'm giving you a hard time, Ryan, because I can. I know who you are. So if I'm already going, hey, well, that's great. How much is your house going to be, right? Then what's that seller thinking?
We're just in it for the money.
Ryan, I appreciate your time. Don't worry about it, man. Have a good day. Right? Now that may not happen every time, but I want you to think about is people judge you on the phone and in person. We're going to go over this in just a second. This is going to be really interesting for you guys. So he's already passed judgment on you. It doesn't matter what you've done. Based on how you talked to somebody, how you've answered that phone call, and the questions that you've asked, you've been judged. Okay? You guys have to think about that as you talk to people. Right? So, growth mindset. Right? We've got to be up to the challenges. We've got to be open to these things. And I bring this up. It's a little bit off topic, but I want you guys to think about that as people challenge you. So, two mindsets and what they mean. This is a slide I actually just recently added. I'm not going to go too much in depth in this. This is more for your information because I want you guys to see how people react. So, challenges, like we just talked about, that was a challenge call, right? Avoid challenges, embrace challenges, right? So, if somebody's challenging you, which I'm going to do today, You gotta decide, are you gonna avoid that challenge? Say, I'm really not comfortable with that? Or are you gonna embrace that challenge and say, bring it, let's do it, right? So, obstacles. Do we get up easily? Man, 6 a.m. in the morning, right? That's an obstacle. I don't want to get up at 6 a.m. Who wants to get up at 6 a.m.? Right? I don't. Persist in the face of setbacks. So, you've got a couple different groups of agents out there, and just people in general. I don't mean to just categorize realtors as an example, but people in general, right? Most people don't like obstacles. They don't like those challenges because it makes them feel uncomfortable, right? I don't want to go do that. That's hard. I don't want to go mow the grass today. It's raining. Whatever it is, there's a challenge. And so in your business, I can assure you that you guys experience obstacles every single day because I talk to you guys every single day. I know that we all experience challenges every single day. There is no ultra clean loan out there that everything just goes as smoothly as it possibly can go, right? It does not exist. If you guys have experienced that, please tell me about it afterwards. I want to hear the details. There's always something. There's always some kind of hair, right? And so it's really interesting to see the different way that different people react to those specific situations. Some people are like, let's get it done. Let's get it closed. It's fine. Let's move on. Other people are like, let's point the finger and blame everybody else for this, right? It doesn't matter whose fault it is. The fact of the matter is we've got to get the deal done, right? So are we going to point at other people? Are we going to overcome this obstacle or figure out a way to get it done, right? Effort, right? Effort as a path to mastery. Okay. I'm not sure why we're getting kind of feedback on this now. Criticism. Ignore useful negative feedback. Learn from criticism. You guys are going to get feedback today here in just a few minutes that you may or may not like. Because people are going to be honest with you. Remember, we talked about being honest in the very beginning. So I'm going to show you what that looks like here in just a few minutes. But I want to point this out. The mindsets that you have determine how much you grow. For example, if you get offended easily by somebody telling you that they don't like you as an example, okay? I bring this up to my kids all the time. My daughters are 15 and 17. Let me tell you, there's plenty of emotions and everything else going on there. And my youngest daughter is full of emotions. She'll come home to, Dad, Susie was awful to me today. She was the rudest person ever. I'm like, okay, well, what's going on? Oh, well, she was across the lunchroom and she gave me this look. I'm like, what's that? She'll duplicate this look. I'm like, well, maybe she was hungry. Maybe she had gas. It doesn't really matter. You're judging somebody on a look that you have no idea what that look even means. Well, Dad, I know it was a rude look. And the next day she'll come back and say, well, I talked to Susie about her look and she had no idea what I was talking about. So people pass judgment, right? They do these things because, and then they judge on it. It's amazing to me. But kids bring a lot of that out to us. So this is something you guys can review a little bit more later. I just want to point out the difference between set and growth mindset. All right, so I want to get to the fun stuff. We already did this. We already did challenge 1, right? So the reason this is important, the reason we did that when you wrote it on a piece of paper is because in most classes I give this in, there's usually 2 people out of about 10 that have a negative mindset about the class. You guys really didn't have that, which is great. So normally somebody is very tired or they really didn't want to get to class. Now, if you look around you right now, there should be 11 more people in this class, right? Now, all of them have come up with a reason not to attend the class. That's everybody can come up with a reason not to do something, right? Why did I not go this morning? It could be, well, I got up late. I need to go get my oil changed. I mean, I didn't wake up at 6 a.m. to show a listing because I like to sleep an extra hour, right? There's always reasons that we can come up with to not do something, right? But the difference between being successful and being complacent is overcoming those challenges. How are you? Come on in. There's no assigned seating, but we are going to sit you right there. All right. So again, the important thing here is to have an open mind as you go into any situation and just be positive about what's going on. Okay, so let's talk about your attitude. We've already gone over most of these things. Everybody seemed pretty excited, right? So to clarify, what we did at the very beginning of class is you had a piece of paper. You wrote on that piece of paper how you felt about coming to the class this morning. And then we went over kind of what everybody felt. Everybody was actually very positive, which is great. But you learn a lot more when you're very open-minded and very positive or excited about something. So, for example, my daughter struggles in math. Anybody else have math problems? So, and she, every morning, I hate math, I got math today. I'm like, honey, right? You automatically go in before you do anything. Today could be a day of, you could have a party in class today. You just don't know it, but you already think it's going to be horrible. Right? You're prejudging. So, I bring up kids a lot in this class, and we're going to go into more of that because it's a great way for you to understand a little bit better about how they preset their mind. And then the day becomes terrible because they think it's going to be terrible. It's like, oh, Mondays. Right? Anybody ever get up and say, oh, it's Monday? Right? I've heard you say it. Don't pretend, man. I know you're sitting there doing it. So, right? So they give you the best Monday you've ever had. Best thing you've ever had. But because you're like, oh, right? It's not going to go as well as you want it to be. So you've got to challenge yourself and say, okay, I'm going to wake up today. I'm like, you know what? Today's Monday. It's awesome. It's another day that I'm alive. Right? B, I get to do my job. Right? C, I can go out there and help people. And I'll tell you what, today I'm going to rock today. Monday's going to be my day. Now, if I come out with that mindset on a Monday versus, oh, Monday sucks, right? Who's probably going to be more successful on that day? Probably the more positive one, right? Wouldn't you think? I mean, even if they did the exact same thing, that positive person's going to think that day's awesome, right? And so you've got to get up and you've got to have those kind of days. All right, let's define a couple things. We're going to break apart mindset. M. The number one thing that your mindset affects is money. Okay? Now, I would love to say that we're all here for charity. And we do this because we love it, and we don't ever want to make a dime, but we all know that's not true. Okay, we all have to pay bills. Right? We got to pay for hospital stays, we got to pay for deer hunting, we got to pay for fishing, right? Those things, we got to pay for kids to go to school. So when we get up in the morning, that mindset determines what kind of profitability we're going to have. And I want you to think about this from the very beginning. There's a reason that M is number one. M is the first letter of mindset. Money is your number one priority when you have a mindset. Okay? Because when you get up and you have that positive mindset, it needs to go back as, why am I having this mindset? To be profitable. Okay? So if you guys get up every day and you don't think about that, right? Because every day we're self-employed. We wake up with no income every morning that we wake up. Would you agree? Right? We're only going to make whatever money we're going to come up with. Doesn't matter what we do. We can go to Starbucks and we can drink coffee all day long if we want to. Right? How much money have you earned that day? Absolutely nothing. Right? Now, at some point in time, I want to retire. I'm sure you guys all want to retire too. Right? Or do something you want to do. Travel, whatever it may be. You can't do that without money. Okay? Unless you've got some kind of lottery winning, which maybe tonight. I'll tell you what, if I win the lottery tonight, I'll call you guys. I'll let you know. That's all good. But unless you do something like that, obviously you've got to work for where you're going to be. Do you agree? Okay. So the number one thing for mindset is money. If you have a positive mindset, money is a lot easier. Negative mindset, money becomes very hard. Can I tell you how many agents I've talked to, 1 or 2 years in the business, is like, man, why am I not where I want to be? This is so hard. I've been job searching. I've been looking for these other things. I'm like, dude, your mindset. It's your mindset, 100%. You've already told me why you're failing. Because you've decided it's hard. What you haven't decided is to work more diligently and work on those things that make you money. Right? You haven't done that. Instead, you talked about how hard it is. Every day is a Monday for you. Right? So you've got to challenge yourself to say, okay, I'm the one who determines how much money I make. I am indestructible. Why is this so important? Right? We let other people affect our ability to do our job. Okay? We're easily swayed by what people say. And I'm going to go back to the kids in school. If somebody says, oh man, I don't like their shoes, they're devastated. Right? Because it's that mindset that they have. They let other people influence their ability to be successful, their ability to grow and be good people. Right? We allow the same thing to happen. We have to be indestructible. What does that mean? If somebody yells at you and tells you you're not doing your job, right? How does that make you feel? You wouldn't like that at all, right? Have you ever had anybody yell at you and tell you haven't done your job? Okay? It doesn't matter what business you're in, but as a waitress, you've had it. Now, were you doing your job? Absolutely. Okay? Now, I've been threatened. I'll tell you what, as a loan officer, I had a guy call me, I'm going to fire you if you don't close by Friday. Okay, fire me, dude. I don't know what else to tell you. Okay? I'm not the one writing your check. You've got to decide, am I doing my job, yes or no? Now, if you're not doing your job, that's a wake-up call for you. Okay? But I doubt most of us are having an issue with not doing our job. You've got a person who's upset for one reason or another. It doesn't matter what it is. They're taking it on you because you're the easy person to be taken out on. You've got to have a mindset where you're indestructible and say, look, it doesn't matter what you say. That's okay. If you need to let off some steam on me, you go right ahead. When you're done, let's get this job finished. Right? You've got to scrape things off of your shoulder. Now, this is a very hard mindset to have. Being indestructible is very difficult. Okay? Because we've all been challenged. I can 100% guarantee you, all of you guys are thinking of things right now in your head that you've really struggled with. Okay? It doesn't matter who you are. Everybody goes through it. Okay? And so, like for example, when I go fishing with Ryan in your morning, he outfishes me. Dude, it bothers me to death. I do not feel indestructible, right? But then I have to get my mindset on. So it doesn't matter what the situation is, if we're deer hunting, whatever it is, you've got to roll with the punches. Does that make sense? All right. Natural. Now, you've heard the term, you can fake it till you make it, right? But when somebody's trying to fake it till they make it, can you tell they're faking it? Absolutely, I can tell they're faking it, right? If I get an agent on the line who's doing all these things, and I'm using agents because, again, this has nothing to do with y'all. But I have agents who call me and like they're laying out all these things, and I'll go do research, and an agent's been an agent for like 2 months. I'm like, okay, well, they're faking it till they make it, I get it. So, but you can tell when somebody doesn't know what they're doing, and they're pretending. You agree? I mean, for real. Well, there are some actors out there who are very good. They're going to find out one way or the other. At some point in time, you're going to figure out this person doesn't know what they're talking about. On the lending side, it's for real. We see this all the time. With like builders, lenders, stuff like that. We see it, we're like, oh man, they're faking this deal. And we call them out, but by the time it's figured out, it's usually too late. So it just is what it is. You can tell when somebody is not natural at what they're doing. The reason people are natural, okay, at conversations, at sales techniques, at listing appointments, at buyer's appointments, is because they practice. It becomes natural, right? If you show up unprepared, right? I know. This is complicated, right? So if I challenged Ryan right now, I use Ryan a lot, I'm sorry guys, and Ryan, I apologize in advance. And I said, Ryan, I want you to be a car salesman right now, and I want you to sell me this Ferrari. But you have no idea what this car is, right? You can fake it, right? You could use some techniques. But if I'm a true Ferrari enthusiast, I know you have no idea what this car can do. Because I'm going to ask you questions that you can't answer, right? Now, am I going to buy that Ferrari from you? There's only one reason I would, and that's because I like you, right?
Or you really want the car.
Or I really want the car. But if you don't know much about it, I'm thinking two things, right? If this guy doesn't know what he's selling, I'm thinking what? What are you thinking?
Know how much it's worth.
That's right. He doesn't know what it's worth. I'm going to try to get a better deal, right? Or it's because I just really like Ryan's personality. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. You've got two chances. If you're a natural, right? If you're a natural and you know this car, I'm thinking, man, he really got this down. I respect his knowledge, right? Because he likes something I like as well. And number two, I know I can't take advantage of him because he knows every detail about this car, right? How many of you guys have been asked to reduce your commission? Everybody here? Right? Now, why do you think they're asking you that question? You have an idea.
They don't know your value.
They don't know your value. Why? Everybody wants a deal. They want to save money. You're right. How many of you guys have reduced your commission? Everybody? At some point in time? Has anybody not ever reduced their commission? Never? Never? Okay, not yet? Okay. So this is a challenge, right? This is something that's very important, obviously, to realtors, and it is to loan officers as well, right? When we get called out on fees, oh man, the other guy's going to do it, right? You had that laid out to you before, right? Oh, well, I called Joe down the street. Joe said he'd do it for 2%, right? What's your immediate response when somebody tells you that? How does it make you feel? Interesting. Okay. Interesting. Who else?
They can't get their commission as the standard rate, and they can't stand up for their own commission. What makes you think that they can stand up for your benefit of the value of your house?
So this is called justification. So in a situation that you're going into where somebody's calling you out, you never justify it until you want. Okay? Because you believe you have value. Right? And you do have that. 100%. The seller doesn't think that. The seller's thinking money. Okay? So how do we get out of that situation?
You have to validate, acknowledge what they said.
You can acknowledge what they said. What else? There's a technique here. I'm not going to get into it right now, but I want you to think about things. Again, this is mindset. How can you get out of this situation and get them to commit to you? It's called disqualifying yourself. Okay? You guys ever done that? You know what I'm talking about? Disqualifying yourself? Okay, so you're creating, do it. Investors are a little different.
Yeah,
When you're doing a bunch of stuff. I'm just on a normal listen. So disqualifying yourself, you know what? You're right. I'm glad that John's going to take that 2%. I may not be your best fit, but I really appreciate the opportunity. So what you're doing is you're disqualifying yourself and you're creating scarcity. Okay? Sort of reverse psychology, etc. So you're reversing on it. Okay? Why is that important? Because it makes you mad. It's like, wait a minute. This guy's not even fighting. There's no justification here. Why are they saying, no problem? Do what you need to do with John. You know, again, I don't work with everybody. I really don't. And so it sounds like we may not be a good fit. You may be comfortable with less than I'm willing to deliver. Right? Now, what have you just done? You're changing their mindset. What do you mean less? What do you mean less? Right? They start asking questions. So you've got to think about ways that you can change another person's mindset to want to do business with you, and by being natural, it allows you to do that. We're going to get into some role play in that in a second. We'll have a lot more fun with that. Drive. This is huge, guys. Drive is like your biggest thing. If you were going to be driving a car, this would be like the 18-wheeler that you would be in your drive. If you don't have drive, it doesn't matter what mindset you have. Right? Because with no D, you get no M. Right? It's real straightforward. Either you're driven and you want to do well, and I want to close a bunch of loans, and I want to make a lot of money, and I want to help people buy homes, or I want to sit and make and have fun. I want to go to classes. I want to go to all these BMI groups. It's so funny. I had a conversation with a loan officer of mine. This has probably been 10 years ago. She'd been in the business when she came to work with me, she'd been in the business 16 years. And she was huge into BNI groups, and there's nothing wrong with BNI groups. Everybody know what a BNI group is? I'm using this as an example, so don't be offended. So I said, okay, how many groups do you go to? She said 4. I said, okay, how many hours a week do you spend going to these groups? And she figured out she had invested drive time, everything that was there, about 6 hours a week. It's okay. For a year, right? Everybody did the math, that's a lot of hours. Right? For a year, 52 weeks. I said, how many loans have you closed? 0. Okay. You spent X number of hours closing 0 loans, right? I said, do you think it was worth going to? What do you think she said? No. You would think that's what she would say. She says, well, I'm still building relationships. Okay. Now, we have a mindset problem, right? She has the drive. She's going. She just isn't, there's no production to it. There's no money there, right? Again, the number one thing about mindset is money, right? So what was she doing? It's called the definition of insanity. Same thing over and over and hoping for a different result. If you're doing the same thing over and over and over and you're getting no results, then why are you doing it? Right? Don't come to me and give me a call and say, I don't understand why I'm not busy. Well, I'm doing this and this and this and this and this and this. Well, how long have you been doing it? I've been doing that for like 3 years. Well, it worked last year. Okay, great. Markets change. Right? If you can't change with the market, if you can't change your mindset to go with the market, it doesn't matter how much drive you have. If you're not doing it the natural way and the right way, you're not going to have the money to recuperate what the money you're spending on it, right? You're not going to have the right mindset. You've got to modify yourself in order to be successful in every business. Just like today is all social media. There's a lot of internet technology. And I get calls from realtors all the time going, I hate social media, right? I can't stand it. I'm not comfortable doing videos. I'm not comfortable making posts every day. And then I get calls going, hey, what do I need to do to increase my business? I've already told you, right? The problem is I see your social media posts. Your one post a month does nothing for you. There's no brand recognition there. Do you see Home Depot once a month? Do you see Amazon once a month? Do you see Chris Waters once a month? No. Oh, sorry. So, I'm using examples, right? Now, if you notice, I'm going to use Chris Waters again. Okay? No offense to anybody here. The reason it bothers you is because you see him everywhere, right? He has brand recognition. Now, you may not agree with the way that he does it. No, I get it. I totally understand. Right? We're not always going to agree with the way somebody does something, but the thing is, he's the #1 agent in Austin. Period. Okay? Now, how he does it, I know how he does it, right? So, you've got to weigh that, but what he has done really well is everybody knows the name Chris Waters. Drive down 35, you'll see like 3 billboards.
Oh, I never drive anywhere else.
Oh, well, there you go. So, but he's the #1 agent. I guarantee you guys have seen his billboards, right? Most of you guys, right? You can see Mary like, right? But that's good because that means you got to drive, right? You're like, this is really bugging me, right? So let me ask you a question. I'm going a little bit off here. Who is bothered by not being #1? Okay. Who's bothered by not being in the top 10? Okay? Who's bothered about not being in the top 50? Now, what you've already shown me just on raising your hands is where your mindset is. Right? You've got a mindset, there's three different types of mindsets you have. Mindset number one, survive. Top 50 is survival. Okay? Have you guys ever heard the analogy of high school football, college football, and pro football in regards to real estate? Did you guys ever hear this? Okay, let's do it real quick. High school football, okay, so the same thing as playing high school football, if you played high school, is $100,000 a year in income or less. That's high school football, that's real estate. Okay? College football is from $100,000 a year to $500,000 a year. You made it to college level. $500,000 a year or more in income is considered pro level. Okay? So that's the analogy that we've used for many years and actually heard from. I can't remember who I heard it from. So based on your income where you are now, right, you can analyze, okay, where am I at? Am I at college? Am I at pro? There's very few pros, right? That's just the nature of how it works. $500,000 a year is a lot of money. There's very few pro athletes. There's more, but there's still not very many college players, right? Making six figures a year over year, can be complicated, right? Now, what's fascinating is this is a mindset thing too. That six figures, for some reason, is a very difficult thing for people to understand, okay? Because your mind is thinking, wow, right? So I'm going to use Kathy for just a second. Okay, no offense, Kathy. She likes to consider things challenges, right? Nothing wrong with that word. But let me ask you a question. Grant, how does the word challenge make you feel? Hard? Hard? How does challenge make you feel?
I don't want to know what challenge is.
Okay, like you want to know what it is? Okay. But in general, do you think the word challenge is hard? Do you associate it with difficult? Right?
I don't.
You don't?
No, but,
Okay.
but I've been doing challenges for the last 2 years.
Absolutely.
So.
So let's say, and I'm kind of skipping ahead, I'm skipping around a little bit. What about the word learning? How does that make you feel?
I mean, I like learning. It
Okay.
depends on what I'm learning.
What's easier, learning or challenge?
No.
No?
Yeah,
You don't have a preference on one of those two? I'm curious.
Learning,
Okay.
yeah.
Learning? Learning, probably a little easier. So if I said I was learning how to do this, would it be like would I have a negative feel about it versus I've challenged myself to do this? So this is a mindset thing, right? Everybody's mindset works differently. Challenges for you may be the rock, like I'm going to get this challenge, I don't care what happens.
Yeah.
But for everybody else, it may be like, you know what, I want to learn how to do that. So you've got to modify the way that your mind thinks in order to be successful. Come on, baby. Success. I'm going to do this one pretty quick because I'm going to get behind if we die. Success, with the right mindset, it's really easy. You have success. Okay? There's nothing more I need to tell you guys about that. Energy. If you approach every situation tired, not wanting to get out of bed, and just overall like, I really don't care, right? Then you don't have the energy that's going to be necessary to have the right mindset to be successful. Because in order to have this and this, you have this. Okay. Traction. Okay. Too legit to quit. Too legit to quit. Traction is so important, guys, because when the going gets tough, the tough get going. If you are in a big old four-wheel drive truck and it's raining and muddy, and you think of the rain and the mud as what you're dealing with in business today, do you feel like you can overcome it? Yeah, put that thing in four-wheel drive, let's blow. Right? Versus I'm driving my little Prius, and then all of a sudden I'm off-roading, that's different. You're not going to have any traction, you're going to be stuck. Right? So I'm trying to give you guys some visualizations, and it's different for everybody. Whatever you visualize to get this traction going on, when stuff starts hitting the fan, it's going to hit the fan. Right? It doesn't matter what we do today. Everybody heard Michael Jordan? Who? What? Yeah, I know, right? Like, that name's not, I've never heard of this dude. Okay? Let's see, Mary, can you read that for us?
I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life. And that is why I succeed.
Right? So, this is pure success mindset. Does that make sense? Everybody understand that? So instead of categorizing that as a failure, he's categorizing that as a learning experience to get better at his job and what he wants to be really good at. right? So we can say, oh, man, I lost that deal. Oh, that guy chose another realtor. Oh, this did this. And man, I must, what am I doing? Or we can say, you know what? I now have learned what not to do. Right? Thomas Edison. Everybody heard of him? Created the light bulb, right? He failed, was it 1,000 times? 1,000 or 2,000 times, I can't remember. And his words, when somebody asked him, well, how do you feel about failing 1,000 times? I didn't fail. I just found 1,000 ways not to make a light bulb. Right? Mindset. Now we all use light bulbs every single day, right? So the people who make the big changes in life have a mindset of success, right? They have a mindset that this is simply a learning situation. This is not a failure, right? Who drives a Jeep? Anybody have a Jeep? Come on, man. There's got to be some Jeepers in here. No Jeepers!
Cherokee.
Do what?
My vision board.
On your vision board. Okay, so you like Jeeps. Okay, so, all right. Okay, I'll tell you what.
I know you like Jeeps.
I do. Jeeps like my thing. I think I skipped this slide too. It's bothering me. I'm going to go back to it. Okay, the Jeep analogy. Man, okay. Who knows that other Jeepers wave to other Jeepers? For real. Like, do what?
What do you say?
Other Jeepers wave to other Jeepers.
Wait,
That's still the Jeepers.
Oh my gosh, we were going to get Sean a Jeep. This is killing me.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
it's
It's Jeepers, yeah, Jeepers Creepers, right? Okay.
Buccaneers.
So a Jeeper is somebody who owns a Jeep, and it can't be like a Cherokee, it's gotta be a Wrangler. Cherokee is not a Jeep, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, not a Jeep, right? I'm a Jeep guy by heart, I love my Jeep. So if you don't wave to another Jeeper and a Wrangler, you are an absolute poser, total poser. Like legit. If somebody does not wave to me in my Jeep, I'm like, oh my, I'm almost to the point of turning around to go, you did not wave. That's rude and disrespectful. That means you bought a Jeep because you thought it was cool, right? No, that's not a real Jeeper, right? A Jeep is a mindset. Now, let me talk to you about Jeep for just a second, okay? Now, have y'all all ridden in a Jeep Wrangler? Most of you guys have? Okay. Is it comfortable?
No.
No. Is it loud? Yeah. You don't buy a Jeep for comfort, right? You buy a Jeep because it's a Jeep, right? I'm not even playing, I love my Jeep, right? So, I don't care that it's loud, I don't care that it's uncomfortable. Because I'm in that Jeep, if I'm in traffic, I'm thinking, oh, dude, that wonderful. We'll drive across that median all day long, and I could probably drive over that car while I'm doing it, but I'm not going to because I'm not as good. Right? And so, because it's a mindset when you get in your Jeep.
It's an ego.
When you wave, you're like, oh, dude, legit, I like your Jeep, you like mine, we're good. I'm already best friends. There's only two groups of people that do that. Motorcycle riders and Jeepers. Right? It's an absolute mindset when you get in that Jeep. You forget that it's uncomfortable. You forget that it's loud because you're in a Jeep. It's like, I'm going to take this top off. Right? I'm going to cruise down the street in my loud and uncomfortable Jeep. Because this is a mindset. Jeep knows this. Have you seen the Jeep body style change in like 50 years? Mm-hmm. Very little. Why is that? Because they know if they change it, they're going to have an uproar on their hands where people will probably buy them out and make their own Jeep. That's the kind of Jeepers that people are. Now, what is the number one selling brand for this company? Number one.
Wrangler.
I'm sorry?
Wrangler.
Wrangler. I'm not talking about Jeep as a whole. I'm talking about Dodge, Jeep, Chrysler, the brand. The number one selling vehicle for them is the Wrangler. Right? It's not because it's comfortable. It's not because it's quiet. Right? They've even talked about just selling off the Wrangler as an individual brand. That's how popular it is. Right? And it's not like you have to do any kind of major design changes because it's going to be the same every single year. And my wife wanted a 2018 JL. Let me tell you, it is the fanciest Jeep I've ever seen, and it really bothers me. Right? Because it's too fancy. So I want to hose that thing off with a water hose. I want it to be waterproof. So we got it because my wife likes it. And let me tell you, it was a big challenge for me. And the Jeep salesman's like, I get you. I understand. It's too fancy. All this digital navigation and stuff. I'm like, that's not a Jeep. I need it to rattle when I'm going down the highway. Right? So it's that Jeep mentality. And I'm trying to bring this to your attention because this is a marketing thing. Right? If I can get this excited about a vehicle that it's not comfortable, it's loud, whatever that is, they've done something right. You created a brand around it. Make sense? Okay? So just because it's not quite the best product, and I think it's a pretty good product, it still creates brand awareness. How can I tell what my mindset is? Okay, challenge time. Okay? Now, does everybody have another piece of paper? Who's missing paper? Who needs paper? You need paper? Okay. Everybody's got a piece of paper. We are partnering up. All right, now you guys don't know each other very well, right? Next to you. Here we go. So you're going to turn to the person next to you on a 10-point scale. 1 is terrible, 10 is awesome. Okay? You're going to grade your person's attitude. Okay? You're judging the book by its cover. Right now. So, yep, you're 2, you 2 are paired, you 2 are paired, you 2 are paired. Okay, you got about 1 minute. Go ahead and talk to each other. I want you to grade each other's attitude.
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, time's up. Everybody ready? Time's up. All right. Now remember I told you have to be honest, right? This is not designed to be disrespectful to anybody, but I want you to be honest. The reason honesty is really important in this is because that person has to know how they're being judged by others, right? We're going to start right here. Scale of 1 to 10. What do you think she did? What on her attitude? Attitude by itself.
Get very much time to talk, but I would say at least, I would say 7.
Okay. How about for?
I hogged up the conversation, but I'd say give her an 8 or a 9.
Okay. Attitude.
I give her a 10, she was super friendly.
Okay. Okay. You guys have the same personalities. I need to. How do you do? Solid 8? Solid 8? Okay. Okay.
7.
Okay. Okay. 8. Okay. Gosh, I was hoping you guys were going to change this up a little bit. So it's really hard for people to give like below a 7. Okay, because they're always worried about offending you. What I'm trying to point out here is you guys have judged a book by its cover. Do you two know each other? Okay. So the reason this is important is when you are going down the street or you're talking to somebody to sell a house to, you're going to a listing appointment, have that person pass judgment on you by the time you walk in that door. Absolutely. They've already analyzed what your body language looks like. They've already analyzed how you're dressing. And I guarantee you've done the same thing to them. Like, oh, I'm going to show up to this meeting at 6 a.m., right? Show up in shorts and flip-flops, right? We've already passed judgment. Okay? This is really important to understand. Okay? Now, Lisa, let's just assume you gave Kim a 6. Okay? Now, you're basing your decisions on certain things, right? So let's back that up a little bit. What is it? Yes, ma'am. Sure.
So when we're all sitting in this classroom, is this how we all are in front of clients that we go to? So wouldn't that judgment be a little bit different?
It's a good point. It doesn't matter. Okay? The reason it doesn't matter is because you're talking about putting on a face for your client, right?
Right, which is going to be different than what I see
Absolutely.
here with her.
We're going to get to this. And somebody looks at me, they've already passed judgment. Would you agree?
Yes, I would.
You look at somebody at McDonald's and they've got rainbow colored hair, right? You're like, right? Let's think about that for a second.
That person follows all the rules.
All the rules.
All the rules.
Obviously, right, you've already decided, and what's interesting is the majority of people have already decided what that person does for a profession. Did you know that? You're like, oh, they're this, or this. Probably. Right? Oh yeah, it's really interesting. Okay? I can tell you right now, because we've done this a long time, I can walk into a Starbucks and I know who's a realtor or who works at Dell. Every time. I was like, oh, dude, you're a Dell employee or a realtor. Which one are you? He's like, oh, I'm Dell. I'm like, all right, gotcha. So, what makes a perfect 10?
Oh, I think somebody that is genuinely just open and has a great attitude.
Okay.
Yeah, happy.
Okay.
Confident.
Okay.
And I think somebody that listens to somebody else
Okay.
speak.
Okay. What makes a perfect 10?
Based on just attitude, I would say upbeat, confident, and also listening.
Okay. All right. Great. What makes a perfect 10? Okay. Eye contact.
I would think you're dressed appropriately. You acknowledge the person.
I mean, you ready to judge me? I'm in jeans and boots. What's going on?
And you make them feel comfortable.
Okay. All right. What makes a perfect 10? Your perception? What about your perception makes a perfect 10? What are you looking for?
It just depends on if that person might not be a 10 to somebody else. It
Okay.
depends on personality, it depends on interaction, it depends on
on my perception of you, of whether I think you're a perfect 10.
Okay, all right. Let's say they're slouching in their chair. Does that bother you?
Yeah.
Okay, so that would eliminate a perfect 10. What if they're sitting very straight and rigid on your chair?
Yeah, it made them tense. They're like,
Okay. So we can't.
it's body language.
Right, so what I'm trying to get you guys to understand is a couple of things here, right? It's not just how they look, right? It's about how they sit, it's their body language. There's a lot of things that affect your ability to give somebody a perfect 10, right? What's really interesting, who's been to Dallas?
I'm from Dallas.
Okay. When you go to McDonald's, right, in Austin, what does everybody look like in Austin? Super casual, right? Dallas is like, we're going for a job interview at McDonald's. Right, we got like in a 5-piece suit. That's the Dallas mentality, right? So in Austin, I hope you guys realize if you go into a coffee shop in Austin, you can be sitting next to a multimillionaire and they can look like trash, right? So just some numbers for you guys in Austin. There are over 2,000 people in Austin today that can write a check for $100 million. Write a check. That means liquid. Do I have to know? Okay, we're going to talk about changing mindset. All right. Okay, on a piece of paper. All right, you can write it on the actual handout if you want to. Okay. I want you to write down exactly what it says there. All the things I am not good at. Exactly what it says there. So everybody write that down. On the back of any piece of paper you want, doesn't matter. All the things that I am not good at.
I don't know, what are you gonna make us do with this?
Huh?
What are you gonna make us do with
Let me
this?
show you. I want you to write down all the things I am not good at. Okay? Now, I want you to give 10 examples that you don't do well. I don't care what it's about. It could be real estate, it could be whatever. All right? 10 examples of things you don't do well. Okay? All right. We're going to go back for just a second. All right. You've got 2 minutes. Go ahead.
Real estate related or?
Doesn't matter. Whatever you want. Stop. So, raise your hand if you're writing more than 5 things. Okay, raise your hand if you're writing more than 7 things. 7? Okay. Raise your hand if you wrote down about 3. Okay. Do me a favor, those who wrote down 3, stand up. Okay. Did anybody write down less than 3? Less than, how many did you write down? Okay, stand up. Great, how many did you get? 4, stand up. Anybody less than 5, stand up. This is really interesting, okay? So, why am I making you stand up? Okay, because you guys who are standing up, and this has nothing to do with anybody else at this class. I just want you to think about this for a second. There are different mindsets for everybody. Some mindset is, hey, I'm going to write down 10 things because he told me to write down 10 things. Okay? Probably the guys who got a lot, that's your mindset. I'm going to write down a bunch. Okay? Because I was instructed to do so. You guys probably struggle finding more than 5 things that you're bad at. That means you have a very high level of confidence. Okay? In your ability to do things. Okay? Either you think you can learn it, or you think that you're not bad at it, you just haven't quite figured it out yet. It's a mindset. Right? I have people who ask, I've had Kylie, it's a great example. In my last, she's like, could you define bad? Because I don't really know what bad means, right? It's a mindset. So that's a very high level of confidence, right? Go and sit down. The reason this is important for you guys is because you want to have a high level of confidence in all that you do, right? Now remember how I talked about fake it till you make it? Sometimes you got to in a confidence situation, right? You may not understand the situation. You may not get the situation. The fact of the matter is, you're confident in your ability to handle that situation. Now, I really don't care what you wrote down, because I know you were asking, what's the point of this? Okay? But what I want you to do is think about how this is going to change your mindset. So I want you to cross out the words not good at. Just write a line, do not good at. Instead, I want you to write in learning. Now, how does that make you feel? A little different than things I'm not good at, right? A little different. Does that make y'all feel better? Right? It's like I'm learning these things. It's not because I'm not good at it. It's because I just haven't done it. Right? It's like, Mary, could you be an airline pilot? I want you to go fly that plane.
Sorry, what?
Could you be an airline pilot? I want you to go fly that plane.
We'll practice first.
Practice, right? Right? That's not saying, oh, let's go to heights. Right? So, there's always reasons we cannot do things. This is what I'm trying to get to you guys very quickly, is I can make excuses not to do anything, right? ability to get the job done. I've also got to be able to accept the challenge as a learning situation, right?
If I'm at 30,000 feet, the pilot just died, I'm gonna need to figure that out.
You gotta do what you gotta do, man. I'm pulling up YouTube, how to fly at 747, right? Heck yeah, I got internet signal, right? Yeah, exactly, right? We're not gonna freeze in our seats. If you freeze in your seat, what happens? Everybody does the same thing, you're dying, right? Now, that's an extreme example, okay? But if you get a situation where you're competing with like a Chris Waters as an example for a listing, right? Are you confident in your ability to beat what he has to offer, right? Do you have the ability to beat what he has to offer? And do you have the ability to convince that person that you're a better choice? Now, if you go in there intimidated, which some people do, right? Intimidation's easy, right? I can intimidate people just like you can intimidate people. Kids intimidate people all the time, right? So if you allow yourself to be intimidated, he's already won. Don't have to do a thing, right? There's a lot of intimidated people out there. All right, let's go to your next one, okay? We're gonna do mindset challenges. Now here's what I'm gonna do. So we're gonna do several challenges here in just a second. These are gonna be a little more complicated. I'm going to mix in personality traits with these mindsets. Does everybody understand personality traits? Everybody know what DISC is? There's also another one that's colors. Have y'all taken the DISC profile before? Okay, that's gonna be part of your homework, just as an FYI. So, I want you to think about what your personality is versus some of these challenges that we're going to be doing, the other person's personality is going to be. Okay, does that make sense? All right. So we're going to do the adversity challenge first. Ryan Beermore, come on up. You're the next contestant. The price is right. Come on. Yeah, I'm choosing you, Ryan, because you and I have known each other since we were born, and Ryan and I are not easily offendable. Okay? I don't know you guys quite as well, and so I don't want you to become offended by this challenge. Come on over here. You gotta do 30 jumping jacks now. So this challenge is the bullying challenge, okay? So one person's a bully, Ryan's gonna be the bully, I'm gonna be the person getting bullied, okay? The whole point of this is because I want you to think about mindsets, okay? Where's his mindset versus where's my mindset? We're gonna do two different mindsets in this case, okay? So Ryan, in this case, I want you to be just me. Right? Don't talk about my mom, because I know who your mom is too. Okay? Better than that, and I'm going to react in a common way that like a child would react in a bullying situation.
So I'm not speaking to Steve here, okay?
Why are you going to?
Your name's Fred.
Fred? Okay, all right, I'll be Fred. Yeah, we're just going to do this for a couple of seconds. Go ahead.
Okay. Fred,
Yo, what's up?
why do you even show yourself here, man?
Man,
You don't know what you're
why you gotta
doing.
be mean? Why, you know, just because you got a beard that you can't grow in, what's going on?
This class is horrible, dude.
Gosh.
I'm sitting over there trying to keep myself awake.
Really? Man, that's just totally rude. I don't like that at all. I don't like what you're saying here. What is this? What do you got going on?
I think you need to go find somebody who can teach this class better.
Holly, call Holly in here? All right, so we're gonna stop it there. What I want to point out here is we're both going back and forth at each other that we're never gonna make any progress, right? Does that make sense? Any progress. It's gonna come to one or two things. Somebody's gonna walk away or somebody's gonna get in a fight. Would you agree? I never do this with women up here because boy, they get crazy. The guys usually do better. And so I'm gonna change my mindset. I want you to be, you gotta be a little, come on man, you gotta be strong.
It's hard.
I know it's tough. You've known me for a long time. It's hard to do both. I'm not a bully.
Steve, I'll do it.
Yeah, come on, Scott. Come on, let's switch for a second.
No, I'm kidding, I'm kidding.
No, I want to do something different where he's not here.
Aw.
Come on. Come on.
Like how you got out of that one.
All right, so I'm the one getting bullied again. So my number one goal is to change the bully's mindset, right? Now I don't get offended easily, all right? So you get to be a bully. Go ahead.
Why are you wearing plaid?
You know, I really like what you're wearing today. It's very nice.
Quit trying to suck up.
You know, I really like your eyes. They're very pretty.
Oh, well, thank you. I don't like your beard.
No,
No, it looks like a
that's
lumberjack.
okay. It's okay.
It's just crazy.
You know, do you know are you having a good day?
No, I'm not.
You're not having a good day?
No.
Well, what can make your day better?
You leaving?
You leaving? Never make me feel better. I'm happy to leave. You want me to leave?
Yes.
Okay, well, I hope you have a great day. It was great seeing you. Okay, now hold on just a second. Was it challenging for you to come up with things to say negative?
Yes, it was.
Very challenging.
Yes.
Now, have you guys ever seen that social? It's an experiment, right? With the two kids? So go ahead and sit down. Thanks so much. So it's two kids up at the front of the room. And actually, it's a girl. That's right, it was a girl. I remember. Girls are tough. And so, and it was the professor. And the professor said, hey, I want you to bully me. She's lighting this dude up. like, she'd been practicing, right? The guy's like, oh, wow, all right, time out, guys, I'm done. So he gets up, he's like, okay, let's change her mindset. And so he kept coming back with positive things to say. She shut down, right? And actually, you're the only person I've had that I gave this class who actually had more things to say. And so everybody else is shut down usually in 2 sentences. They stop, they're like, dude, these guys are really freaking nice, right? What am I gonna say? The reason I'm trying to bring that to you guys is we've all been in a situation where somebody's very aggressive towards us, right? And we don't know why, right? It could have been anything. Situation at home, kids may have left, I mean, who knows? We don't know. But if we constantly go in an aggressive situation being aggressive, we're only gonna get this one result. It's gonna fall apart, right? We have to be able to say, okay, I don't deserve what this person is giving me, I get it. How can I change their mindset to get them back to the negotiating table, all right? So, hey, I know you're having a rough day, I acknowledge that, I totally get it. Let's bring this down a notch. How can I help you? Okay? So, I always teach my people all the time, how do we diffuse any situation? You can diffuse situations by asking questions, right? Because what does a question make you feel like you have to do? It makes you feel like you've got to answer it. It's very difficult for somebody to walk past a question. That's just an inherent nature of humans. I don't know what it is. So they're yelling at me, going after me. I'm like, what can I do for you today? Right? All of a sudden there's a pause. Okay? I've made them stop and think for a second. Like, well, there's nothing you can do for me today. Okay. Well, is tomorrow a better day to have this discussion? Right? Because they've already told me today is not going to be a good day. I'll move them to tomorrow. And now they're doing one of 2 things. Either they're reconsidering what they've already talked about, they've lost that train of thought. Right? If I can get them off that track and get them to another track, there's a good chance I can bring them back to the table. Right? So ask questions to derail aggressive situations. Don't be rude in the way that you ask them, but you're challenging somebody to change their track, their mindset. Does that make sense? Okay, this is fun. All right, let's call the money mindset. One person is a homeowner, and one person is a realtor. We're going to make this very challenging. I need a high. Come on up. Come on up. Okay, so this mindset, okay, now remember how we talked about personalities and mindsets, okay? You guys as realtors have to be somewhat of a chameleon, okay? Because not everybody that you're dealing with has the same mindset. I know that you're probably a high I. Does everybody understand what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. That's okay. She's very, yeah, she's influencing. She likes to be very nice to people. You're very sweet. Yeah, you want to get along with everybody. Okay? In this case, I'm going to be a very high D, which means I'm very direct. Okay? Now, you've dealt with people who have been very direct, right? Okay. So this is probably going to make you a little uncomfortable, but what I want you to do, are you okay with this? Okay. You're the realtor, I'm the homeowner. Okay? You're going to come to a listing appointment. I've called you. Okay? So I'm going to throw some curveballs at you, and then and if you're okay with it, we're going to grade the way that you do. Okay? Now, anybody up here, I want you to think about you being up here as yourself. I'm going to make this difficult. Okay? Then I'm going to show you ways to change that mindset to walk that person exactly where you want them to walk. Does that make sense? Okay? Hey, thanks for coming today. I really appreciate it.
Hi, Marissa. Nice to meet you.
Oh, it's very nice meeting you too. Thanks for coming. I really appreciate that. Go ahead. Okay. So I called you, right?
Yes.
I want you to come and talk to me about my house.
Yeah.
We got other realtors coming in 20 minutes. So you got 20 minutes to tell me why I should use you as a listing agent.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So I want to know a little bit about your home, why you're moving, where you're going, kind of things
Well,
like
I should have covered that in 20 minutes. I'll tell you what, let's get down to the chase here.
that. Okay.
Tell me why I should use you.
Why you should use me? Well, I feel like, well, I know I'm knowledgeable about the area. I'm born and raised here. Just different things. I think that I'm going to be perfect for you because I'm a 24/7 agent. You can call me, text me anytime. I'm available.
Okay.
And I'm always kind of there for you and things like that.
Okay. So stop right there. So
Good job.
that was very good, actually.
I
Yeah.
think that's one of the hardest
Very
questions,
hard
no
question.
matter where you're at.
Very hard question. And that's why I brought it. Right? I could be very easy. That's not going to do you any good. Right? So, Grant, scale of 1 to 10. 1 means I would have kicked her out of the house. 10 means I would have listed with her. What's the number?
From a high D point, I think not good.
Okay? Number.
1.
Okay? 1. Right. What would that number be?
5.
Okay? 5. What would that number be?
About 5 or 6.
5 or 6, okay. Raise your hand if you would have listed with her based on that conversation. Okay, so it's a learning point, right? This isn't to call you out, okay? What I want everybody to understand is you're going to encounter situations that are difficult, right, that we just talked about. This is something you would hardly ever encounter. Nobody's usually going to be that rude, okay, and that direct. So what I want you to do is switch this. I'm going to be the realtor. You're going to be the person selling your house, okay? Now, I'm going to stop this at a certain point in time, and I'm going to point out a couple of things that I want you guys to think about, okay? So, is that okay? Okay. So once again, I'm the realtor. Hey,
Is she still coming from High D?
so, yeah, so in this case, you're high D.
I'm very direct.
You're very direct.
Okay.
Now, I know that's not your normal personality type. Remember how I talked about how you have to be a chameleon, right? Modify your body language and the way that you talk to somebody to fit what they need.
Okay.
Okay, so that's your challenge at this point in time. So,
I'm very direct.
you're very direct. And I'm going to stop you at certain times and say, hold on just a second. We're going to talk about a couple different points. Okay? Now, before I told you guys to ask questions, right? All right. Hey, great seeing you today, Steve Ferguson. Thanks so much for having me over.
Great, perfect, yes.
How are you today?
I'm great.
Fantastic.
Can we get this going? Because I have other agents coming in.
No, that's a really smart decision. I'm glad you're shopping around. We can get this going right now. How much
Yes.
time do you have?
Less than 20 minutes.
Less than 20 minutes. Okay, so let's ask a couple of questions. Is that okay?
Okay.
Okay, hold on just a second. So I said let's ask a couple of questions. Is that okay? Right? I'm letting them tell me, yeah, please ask questions. Okay, why is it important?
You're in driver's check.
I'm driving the bus,
Yeah.
right? Is it okay if I ask you questions? Yes. The immediate response is almost always yes. Okay? So we're going to continue. She's a high D, right? Okay. What's your number one goal in selling this house?
I want it sold, I want it gone.
Okay, when do you want it sold?
ASAP, I need it gone.
Okay, 30 days, 60 days?
10 days.
10 days.
I want it
Okay.
gone.
Let's assume we can get it sold in 10 days. What kind of price would look good for you?
I want, I don't know, $250,000.
Okay, 250,000, 10 days. Great.
Yes.
I know what my challenge is. What happens if I don't meet that challenge?
I get somebody else.
Okay, get somebody else. And why would you get somebody else if I don't meet that challenge?
Because I need my home sold in less than 10 days for $250,000, and if you can't do it, I will find somebody who can.
Okay, so stop right there. So, what have we figured out?
She knows how to be involved.
Huh? She's involved, which is great, but what has she told me?
She has a timeline.
She told you exactly what she wants, right? Now you know what she wants, right? So if I know what she wants, how easy is it for me to deliver? Super easy, right? I know what they want, I can deliver it all day long. Now, do you think she can sell it in 10 days for $250,000? Absolutely not. No, it doesn't matter what I think. It matters what she thinks, right? So let's get her to commit, right? Okay, let's assume I can sell it at $250,000 in 10 days, right? And everything goes perfectly, we close on time. That would make you happy? Awesome. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do for you, right? I don't do this for everybody. If in 10 days it doesn't sell for $250,000, would you consider dropping the price by $5,000?
I'll drop it by 2,000.
Okay, stop right there. Now, she already said that she's not going to hold me to the commitment,
Yes.
right? Now, why is that? Because I've asked her a question of what if this doesn't happen. Okay? I'm not guiding her. I'm just simply letting her tell me where she wants to go. Now, she's negotiating with me because I'm 5,000. She's like, I'll do 2,000. I don't really care what the number is. If it's $500, I'm happy because that means she's going to drop her price. Okay? Does that make sense? So just to reiterate, $250,000 in 10 days. I'm happy to list it for that. We'll put the sign in the yard today. We'll get pictures taken. I'm going to have you rocking and rolling. If for some reason it doesn't sell in 10 days, God forbid, you want to drop it for $2,000. Is that correct?
Yes.
So if I can achieve that for you, are you ready to list it today?
Yes.
Done. Now, she doesn't even know she just said yes. You didn't realize it, did you? She's already committed. Right? It's not because I've told her that she needs to do these things or I've justified my position. Did I justify anything that I just did? Did I talk about me in any way, form, or fashion? I found her problem. I'm delivering her problem. I don't care that her number's wrong. We know her number's wrong. She's not going to sell it in 10 days. What I'm trying to get is her mindset to change where she's committed to say, I'm willing to give you a break if it doesn't happen in 10 days. Right? And then because I'm telling her once again that what she wants is what I'm going to deliver, are you committed to move forward? She immediately says yes. She doesn't even realize she did. Right? You had no idea you were saying yes to that.
Yeah.
No. I'm like, I'm getting the papers, let's roll. We're walking to the kitchen, I'm signing a listing agreement. That took 5 minutes. Now that's a high D. That's a very direct, like very high D, right? Your personality type is very different.
That was very hard, I'm really sorry.
No, So the reason I'm pointing out that one is because that's probably the most difficult situation you're ever going to be in, is when you've got a very high direct B that gives you a very defined time frame. I don't need 20 minutes, right? Either we're going to work or we're not. That's because I'm being indestructible, right? I'm letting it roll off. Great, set the time frame. I only need 3 minutes. We're going to find out right now if I'm a good fit for you. I don't work with everybody.
Yeah, I love that built-in scarcity.
Yeah, it's scarcity, right? So, key points, smart and scarce. Okay? Now, I didn't bring up scarcity on this one because it didn't route to a scarcity situation. But in some situations, like, look, it's okay. I don't have to list your home. Right? I may not be your best fit. Now, when you tell your kid not to do something, what does that kid want to do? Dadgummit, they want to do it. Right? Don't take that electric socket. Oh, I'm getting a fork. We're going to go try this bad boy out, right? So it's the same thing for adults, right? It may not be as prevalent and as showing, but it's true. Okay, this is a proven and tried fact. No problem. Hey, if you don't have time, it's totally fine. It's no big deal, right? Smart is a situation where, like, I'm interviewing other realtors. That's really smart. You should do that, right? Perfect. I hope you do. Somebody calls me to get rate quotes. Man, I hope you're shopping around. Hope you are. Do it. Because then all of a sudden, like, well, maybe I don't need to shop around. Right? Now, I'd say if I get 10 clients who go, I am shopping, what's the best rate you can do? Okay? Of those 10 clients, I will never quote them a rate, ever. Why? Because now I've given them what they want. They just want a rate. You can go find the best rate. I go find something online that says it's a 2%, right? But there's a lot of fine print associated with that, right? So I'm going to ask questions to figure out what they're really trying to get. Most of the time, it's not rate. Okay? It could be a payment, it could be a closing on time, it could be whatever. You've got to guide your client, we call it walking the dog, to figure out where they're going to go. Does everybody understand how that works?
I need a lot more practice on that.
Well, practice, right? We talked about being natural. You practice. In the beginning, it's tough, right? It's like, oh, what questions should I ask? As time goes on and you practice it more and more, it becomes very natural and easy for you to have these kinds of conversations, right? So, scarcity is your best way to go. It's the easiest thing to remember. But you've got to be prepared to walk away from the deal. Because you're going to be scarce sometimes and you will not get the deal. But more often than not, you will get it. You'll be more successful. Okay? It's just how psychology works with people. All right?
This keeps my secret weapon because I know that these people are about to waste about 3 months of my life or not.
Yep. Right? Well, who wants to invest 3 months of your life?
Let them run me ragged. Oh, I'm ready.
Yeah.
You're
It's
not.
like, are you really ready? This is my favorite one. My favorite challenge. Loan officer role play challenge. You're going to partner with your neighbor again. One of you is going to be a loan officer. One of you is going to be a realtor. Your job as a loan officer is to convince that realtor to send you business. Okay? Now, you guys have never been loan officers before, right? As a realtor, I expect you to be your hardcore normal realtor self. Okay? You guys are going to have 5 minutes for this role play challenge. Now, after 2.5 minutes, you're going to switch positions. What you do is you're going to grade each other on how likely you are to send them a deal. You cannot say, I just want to give them a shot because I feel bad for them. No, it's either you're going to or you're not. Scale of 1 to 10, right? So, once again, partner with your neighbor. What is a realtor? What is a loan officer? Loan officer's job is to do business for the realtor. Switch up. We're going to do 5 minutes total. Let me switch up. Some of these things take forever. We'll do it 5 minutes per side. 5 minutes is about all you need. Okay? And so, when you're going to grade each other, some good feedback. Go ahead. Let's get started. All right, let's go. Speed dating, right? I turned down the air, sorry.
Yeah, it just got a little.
Breeze in like 10
It
seconds.
just kicked on.
Really cold. They were putting their coats on. My ankles are cold, Steve Ferguson.
You guys got on great team. I know you did. It's killing me. It's killing me. Dang it.
Eyes unite, eyes unite.
All right, everybody ready? I gotta reel everybody back in. That's right there. Everybody good?
Freezing, but yeah.
Sorry, I didn't call right now. So, all right. So, yeah, you know he's going to get called. Yeah, it's so funny. Okay. So, who thought, who thought 5 minutes was too long?
Yes, right here.
Okay. Was it too long when you were a realtor or when you were a loan officer?
A realtor.
A loan officer.
A realtor? Really? As a loan officer?
Yeah, I know it's
Loan officer? Loan officer? If it's too long as a realtor, we got to have a conversation. You should have plenty of things to talk about as a realtor for sure. For you two, 5 minutes too long? Okay, was it harder as a loan officer or a realtor?
I think a little bit challenging for me was a loan officer, but I don't know if she knew that I was a loan officer.
Okay, all right. So scale of 1 to 10.
What do you think was more challenging?
What's more challenging? Loan officer. Okay. I already know what you guys are gonna grade each other. What do you give her?
You know what, honestly, I was about to start asking her lender questions because she did so well, and then I had to remind myself that she's not a lender.
Very good. That's awesome.
I did the steep spiel.
Oh, did you?
And you know what? She did great. And I know. Always down. But she immediately identified that communication was my touch point.
Awesome.
And then she just started talking about all the ways in which she can.
Awesome.
Which is why I send everybody.
Well, I appreciate
I
it.
don't like to get blindsided 3 days before closing.
No, of course.
Right?
Right, absolutely.
If there's a problem, I want to know now. So
So,
how is that?
absolutely, so you need to give her, you like, you need to send her.
I thought she was a lender for me.
Okay, would you send her deals?
Oh, yeah.
We're starting to get, okay. 1 to 10, 1 to 10. How did she do as a loan officer?
She did
Like
fine,
one.
she's very inexperienced,
Okay,
and so that was tough for her.
Right.
And her biggest challenge is that she was her mindset. She believed that she didn't know, and so she said that over and over.
okay.
Well, I was disclosing like out of character that I'm very new to this whole industry.
Okay, so hold on for just a second, very new. Who would send a loan officer a deal if they told you they were new? No one.
Yeah,
That's like,
I'm
that's
out
like,
of character.
I understand, I know. So,
In
but
her-
again,
in character, she said she's 10 years, 5 years with the current company.
oh, okay, well, very good in character, that's
Yeah, I
great.
totally lied.
So, okay.
That's okay.
This is role play, right? Role play can be very challenging for people, so that's why we're doing it. So, would you have sent her a deal?
Be honest, 'cause,
No.
yeah.
Would you have sent him a deal?
Maybe,
Maybe scale 1 to 10? What was the out on the scale 1 to 10?
maybe up to 5-ish.
A 5-ish, okay?
Now that hurts.
What? Nobody's feelings get hurt here, it's real. So scale 1 to 10, how did she do? As a loan officer?
I'd say 6.
Okay, go for it.
I'd say probably 8.
Okay, 8, would you have sent her a deal?
Yeah.
Would you have sent her a deal?
Maybe.
Maybe, okay. Scale of 1 to 10, how did she do?
No, me.
Uh-huh, as a loan officer, that's what I care about.
I probably feel like a 7.
Okay, for her?
I'd have to agree.
Would you have sent her a deal? Okay, would you have sent her a deal?
Yeah, she looked like she knew her stuff.
Okay, interesting. Ryan, scale of 1 to 10.
As a loan officer or realtor?
Loan officer.
Loan officer did really well, presentation-wise. There was just a crux there that I was already using somebody else, and it was a little hard to combat that
Okay.
relationship. From a skill standpoint, it'd be great.
So scale of 1 to 10.
6.
Okay. Scale of 1 to 10.
8.
8, would you have sent him a deal?
Yeah.
Would you have sent him a deal?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is really interesting. Okay. Scale of 1 to 10. How did you do?
Yeah.
Okay. Scale of 1 to 10.
Same.
Would you have sent each other a deal? Okay. Fascinating. Scale of 1 to 10. 7. Okay. Scale of 1 to 10. Would you have seen each other a deal? This is really interesting. This is always fascinating. I love hearing this stuff. So the reason this is interesting, this is a multi-step process here. Number one, you're putting yourself in a situation where you're not comfortable, right? So we're being something that we're not, nobody here has been a loan officer before, right? Okay, perfect. So now you guys have obviously talked to loan officers before, you know how that look should be. So you guys have a little insider knowledge that a normal person would not have, right? What's fascinating is pretty much everybody here would have sent the other person a deal with the lowest grade of being a 5, right? Then somebody got a 5, you gave them a 5, but you still would have sent them something, right? Yeah. I think that's really interesting, right? Now, why do I think that's interesting? Because human nature, right, is an interesting thing, and you feel bad for them, right? Because it's hard for you to grade somebody just on their pure ability, right? You've already passed judgment on them based on our earlier transaction. We've talked about that you've already judged them. Mindset, the way that they sit, all these other things. And your human nature says, you know what, I'm probably going to give this guy a shot. Now, that is really fascinating to me because not only are you giving them a shot, you're going to have your client give them a shot, right? Now, I want you to think about this from a different mindset. Your client, you're my client, Lisa. I just had a conversation with Kim, okay? Kim got a, what'd you get? What'd you give her?
An 8.
An 8, okay? So an 8 out of 10 as a loan officer, okay? Now, I'm the realtor on this deal. I want Lisa to trust whatever I'm going to tell Lisa to use whoever I tell Lisa to use. Does that make sense? Okay? Lisa, I want you to use Kim as a loan officer. She's an 8 out of 10. Are you okay with that?
Well, I kind of want a 10 out of 10.
You want to, well, what's wrong with an 8 out of 10? Right?
Yeah.
Okay, hold that thought.
Yeah.
All right, you just send him a deal. All right? Hey, I want you to use my loan officer. He's a 5 out of 10. You okay with that?
Heck, no.
I'll look to the side, so not answer.
Okay, right? 8 out of 10. I want you to use my loan officer. Give him a shot. 8 out of 10 times, he's awesome.
It's a maybe.
This is really interesting, right? Think about this for just a second. When you put it in a perspective of you're the borrower, right? 8 out of 10 ain't gonna work. You want the best, right? This is why, okay, so I'm gonna break some things down for realtors. This is really interesting. And again, I told you I was a straight shooter. Realtors in general are disloyal, okay? Because you guys like to visit with people, and that's fine. And you get emotional about things that are business related, and so you're willing to give a 5 out of 10 a shot, right? You're like, you know what, sure. Nice guy, took me coffee, buy me a Frappuccino, I'm good, right? And then you have a deal that you get lucky, and that deal goes pretty smooth, right? All right, it's cool, we're good. 5 out of 10 got up to 6 out of 10. Next deal falls apart. Never again. Never again, right? Now, what's interesting about this is you say never again, but the next time somebody comes and talks to you and you get a 6 out of 10, you're going to give them a shot.
That's not me, that's not real.
Well, I'm just saying in general, but just based on what we just talked about here, you don't need an excellent person to give them a shot at a loan. But your business and your customers want the best. Do you agree? Right? I mean, if I went to Grant, and he's my realtor, Grant I know is a fantastic realtor, and he referred me to a person, whether it be a home inspector, a title company, a lender, I don't care who it is, I'm judging that based on Grant. Right? Grant knows what he's doing. Grant is the best of the best. I know he's only going to give me the best. Right? Right?
Uh-huh.
But you guys just said that you're okay with not going to the best of the best. This is what I'm trying to make you guys think about. Right? So, if you are okay working with people who are 6 or 7 out of 10, then it doesn't matter how good of a job you guys do, right? There are other people involved in your machine, right? If you don't work with the best, and you don't make sure that you're dedicated to the best, then your customers are only getting mediocrity. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay? Now, I'm not saying that I'm the best out there, okay? I may not be fit for all of you guys, and that's okay. What I'm trying to be very clear to you guys is you have got to choose people to go on your team that are the best. You don't get swayed easily by people who go buy you a cup of coffee or take you to lunch or take you to dinner. I will never forget this situation. I did loans for a realtor for 5 years. 5 years I did loans for this realtor, and this still bothers me a little bit today because my mentality is different than hers. I closed 100% of her loans on time, under budget, and I got 5-star ratings on Google and Facebook and Yelp from every client we closed. 100%. She called me one day. She said, Steve, we're not doing business anymore. I'm thinking, well, this is really fascinating, right? And so I'm like, well, what's going on? She's like, you never took me to lunch. No. So mentalities are different for every individual person. I'm thinking, I'm doing a great job.
Wait, is this real?
This is a real situation. I'm thinking, I'm doing a great job by closing everybody on time. But for her, she needed to be smoothed, which smoozing is a great thing, right? Smoozing is a great thing. So another loan officer was recruiting her by taking her to lunch, right? Okay, it is what it is. I didn't do a good job of taking somebody to lunch. My mindset is if I do a fantastic job, that should be enough. So again, mindset's very important. I have to modify my mindset to figure out better what that realtor needs.
So now you
I interview my people differently, right? And so I am not a fantastic person at going out and buying lunch all the time and taking you to coffee. I'm busy doing my job, right? That doesn't mean that you don't deserve it. You guys all individually deserve to be wine and dine just like everybody else does. What I'm trying to be clear to you guys is that you've got to figure out what best fits with your business model. And then when you figure out your business model, you've got to make sure that you have the best people who can't close loans in a short amount of time, and they're behind every day on time. Why keep using them? Oh, I got a friend named Sally over there. Right? Let me be very clear. You can have friends outside of work until you're blue in the face. Okay? This is a business. This is a mindset. What's the number one thing about mindset? M means what?
Money.
Money. Okay? We're not in this. I love Ryan Beardmore to death. He is he is my brother for sure. Okay? That does not sway our business relationship, and it can't. Okay? And the reason for that is just because I have to support my family just as he has to support his family, right? If I'm not a good fit for Ryan, I'm not a good fit for Ryan. I respect his decision. The same thing goes for all of you guys. You've got to figure out what your 10 looks like as a loan officer, as a communicator, as a closer on time, products, whatever that is. So the reason I had you guys role play is to help you guys realize that you're giving chances to people who are not going to be the best fit for your business. Does that make sense? Right? I'm not saying for you guys to be hard asses. Right? I don't want you guys to think that.
But that's just judging them. That's not really.
Did you judge a book by its cover at the very beginning of this class? Everybody judges. It is impossible to prevent judgment. Impossible.
It is, but if you're gonna judge them just by not allowing them to actually show you what they can do in their work, and you're saying, oh, I'm having a conversation with you, and just based on this conversation, I'm not going to allow you that chance. I mean, that kind of bothers me.
So I want you to hold that thought for a second. I've got 2 loan
Because
officers
then, I
in
mean,
this class.
somebody's gonna do that to me too.
They
It's not
absolutely
fair.
will. And that's life is not fair.
Well,
This
it's
is-
not fair.
Right? So, hold on just a second. You guys are both loan officers. How many minutes do you have to get that deal from the realtor? Do you get 1 shot?
Yeah.
Pretty much. 1 shot.
Yep.
Okay?
Well,
In
then
that first meeting, if you don't get the deal, you are not going to get it. Period. I've done this for 19 years. If you don't like me by the first coffee, done. Doesn't matter what I do. Doesn't matter how many times I call you back. We're not doing business together. And I know that's frustrating. I know that's not fair. Trust me, I know. Right? That's why I wanted you guys to role play as loan officers and realtors to help you guys think about what's going on there. Because as a realtor, right, if you're convincing her to be a realtor and you're a realtor, you guys have both industry knowledge on that. When you're new and it's something you're not comfortable with, how do you change mindsets to get that done? And we're going to talk about that in just a second. But you have 1 shot. And I know that sucks. Right? But in reality, people pass judgment. They determine whether or not they're going to work with you on your 1 shot. You've heard the song Eminem, right? Right? Eminem. It should be the theme song. Right? So, yes, ma'am.
I was just going to add to that is how that person is with you is how they're going to be with your client too. So you have to figure, is this a good fit for my client?
Because right now you're thinking, I passed judgment on her, right? I'm too tough. I'd probably give her a shot, right? But let's just say she did exactly what she did with you with your client. Okay, exactly the same. Would your client be happy with that process?
Well, the thing is my client's not gonna know much about that process, right? So if you're at least, you can, I mean, just like you said, fake it till you make it, right? And if you can be convincing enough to my client, I mean, I feel like I should at least allow you a chance to prove yourself worthy. I mean,
Okay.
we all learn daily, right?
Sure, we do.
We all learn something new. And
Right.
just like they tell us as realtors, right? When you're new, you go in front of a client, no matter, you know more than that client.
Sure.
So be confident and, right? And so,
Well, that is the common belief, right? That we as individual loan officers are going to know more than the client. Now, that changed about 10 years ago with social media. And so everybody is an armchair quarterback, for lack of a better description. They've already researched realtors, what realtors should be doing, and they're asking you questions about, are you going to do this and this and this and this? Am I getting my own website? Let's be real, right? You've been questioned about listings before, I'm sure. Now, if they didn't have that ability to go do your research, you're absolutely right, 100%. You're going to know everything there is to know, and you're going to be able to tell them, I'm going to do these things, and they're going to take that for word. But now everybody has the ability to go back and fact check you, right? So as a loan officer, as an example, right, there's lots of different programs that are out there, right? So if a loan officer can't do a specific program, but this one can, or if a builder is giving somebody $10,000 to use their mortgage company, right, as an example, right, you got to decide at that point in time, is the money more important? Is the program more important? In a lot of cases, it is. I totally respect that. But the goal here is to make you understand that if you're giving everybody a shot, and it's okay to give people a shot, I hope that you guys are not taking this the wrong way. I want you guys to give people shots. It's great. But if when you're talking to this person, and you're the expert, right? So you're essentially having a job interview for somebody to deal with the people that you're working with. Okay? Am I willing to hire you to work with my clientele? Okay? So I want you to think about that for a second. If I would hire you, and I gave you a 5 out of 10, am I willing to give you thousands of dollars?
well, maybe not necessarily a 5 out of 10. I can see like
An 8 out of 10, right?
I mean,
So
even
8 out of 10 is not bad.
8 out of 10 is not bad.
No, it's not bad.
A 10 out of
Absolutely
a
not.
10 if you can find it, and it's
Sure.
truly, honestly, 10 out of a 10.
Right.
And honestly, yes, you're going to stay
And is
with
your
that
10 out of
person,
10
right?
different than Kim's 10 out of 10?
Exactly.
Absolutely. What I'm trying to get you guys to think about here is everybody has different needs. Okay? Everybody does. What your 10 looks like is different than, Stephanie's 10, as an example. That's okay. What I'm trying to get you guys to think about is you're only as strong as your team. Okay? So I get human nature says, I want to give this person a shot. And everybody deserves a shot. I want to be very clear. Everybody deserves a shot. But if that person is getting a shot on a 5, a 6, or a 7, right? There's some questionability there. 8, 9, 10, okay, that's reasonable, right? 80, good deal. Probably going to do just fine. If it's a 5, 6, or 7.
Better when you say
Okay.
8, 9, 10.
I'm glad we did clarify. So yes, so just because they're an 8 now doesn't mean that you can't mold them into a situation that's a 10 for your team,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
The flip side is this also applies. Mary, I work with you and I drop the ball. Okay, I've done fantastic the entire time and all of a sudden something goes wrong. What do you do?
I'm gonna call you on the phone and ask what the heck happened.
You're gonna ask what the heck happened. I own it, I claim it, we're gonna fix it, we're gonna get this done, Mary, we get the loan closed. It's late, but we get it closed. Then what do you do?
I'm kind of on notice.
Okay?
If everything goes back to quote unquote normal and the explanation was sufficient, some blindside thing, was it the client that did something or did a member of your team drop the ball or what happened?
Sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna start looking at that a little bit.
Okay.
If it's always been fantastic, I'm gonna want to continue with that because sometimes stuff just happens.
Sure.
And what was the explanation for the thing that happened?
Okay, makes sense. Ryan, in your situation, everything goes great, problem happens, hits the fan, I call you, hey, it was somebody else's fault, we're not closing on time, what are you doing?
First, I want to find out what the fault was, right? Got to be specific there. And then, hey, how can we avoid this in the future?
Okay.
Right? Put up boundaries so that it doesn't happen again.
Okay.
But yeah, I would still be moving forward because that would be one. If it was multiple, then
Different situations. Right, okay. The reason I want to point this out is both of these people, I knew what your responses were going to be, and I chose you for a specific reason. You've got a relationship, okay? This is a mindset thing and an attitude thing. This is something you guys absolutely have to think about. You establish a relationship with somebody. Let's just say it's a home inspector, okay? This home inspector has done great work for you for many years. Great job, right? He misses something, causes a major problem, right? So you've got to decide, what kind of relationship do I have with this person? Is it one strike, you're done? Right? Because if you think about this in your marriage as a situation, if it's one strike and you're done, nobody's getting married. Right? And so you've got to decide whether or not you're going to have a conversation and figure out the way to solve the problem and move forward, or if you're done. If you have a mentality of you're done, okay, which there's a lot of people that have that mentality, then every person you work with is only as good as their next deal. Okay? That creates a very difficult challenge for everybody involved. Because if the roles were reversed, right, and you as an agent dropped the ball in a situation and I said, we're done, right? You could have a conversation. Because how many times do you get people asking you about the loan officer? Man, he's not communicating, right? He's not doing what he needs to be doing. I can assure you, as many times as you're getting that conversation, the loan officer on our side is getting the same conversation. Usually saying the exact same thing. And they'll tell each other the exact same thing. Is that right? Have you not heard these conversations before? Absolutely. Hey, I'm not sure this is the best agent. Right? Now, if I was going to be unloyal to my agents, I'd be like, I got another agent for you, no problem, let's move. Right? Boy, that would be truly disrespectful. I would never do that to any of you. Okay? My job is to make sure that that person understands that agent is the best person on their team, period. My job is to modify mindset with like, oh, wow, I had no idea that they were that awesome, that these things were going on. Because my job is to support the team. I know that agent's the best person. Right? Period. So I don't know if you guys have ever had a situation where a loan officer has taken a client from you and given it to another realtor. Have you ever had that before? Raise your hand if you have. You've had to do it. I know.
I did it.
As a realtor. She was a realtor before.
Yeah.
It happens actually a lot more than you would think it would happen. We hear about it all the time. But you've got to depend on each other to get that level of success. So when I say these things like that, it's because you've got to be confident in their ability to not only do the job, because it's their job, right? Do it well, and support you. Because are any of us perfect? No. Are we all going to make mistakes at some point in time? Absolutely, we're going to. The key is, how is my team going to support me in this mistake? Right? We've always got to look at things the best case scenario because we look at we've got to plan for the worst case scenario and hope for the best, right? That's what everybody does. So if we're planning for the worst case scenario, is my team going to support me in a time of trial? If you can think of people that are not going to support you in time of trial, maybe it's time to think about another person for your team. It's going to happen, okay? So that was kind of the point of that. Now I want to talk real quick about this. Social media technique, how to have the best conversation with anyone. Now, this is really easy. Well, it may not be. I want you to think about, how do you have the best conversation with anyone? What do you talk about? Them. Themselves. Okay. Now I gave you the loan officer challenge, right? Now what you could have done in that 5-minute period of time is you could have continued to ask them what? Questions about who? Them. And they would have loved you. Right? Hey, what's your favorite baseball team? Right? You don't have to talk about loans, and a lot of people get this confused. So it depends on the personality that you're dealing with. Some people like a very direct style, some people don't. Okay, so you've got to judge the personality that you're dealing with. You've got to check their attitude and figure out where it's at. And then you've got to adjust the way that you do business to modify what they're doing. So you become a chameleon, right? So have you ever sat down next to somebody and sat the way that they're sitting? You ever done that? All the time. Right? Now why do you do that?
You're mimicry.
Yeah, you're mimicking. You're mimicking them. Absolutely. So it makes them more comfortable, right? Like, oh, that's fine, cool, man. Let's hang out for a little while, right? And then you have a casual conversation, because if they're slouching or they're casual about the way they're handling themselves, chances are they're totally fine having a casual conversation. But if you go up there and you be the hammer and they're the nail, that's not going to go well, right? So you're going to change your attitude, change your mindset, figure out their personality to deliver what they need, okay? And talk about them. So what we train in our classes, if we're going to have a realtor meeting, and this is something you guys can think about when you're meeting a client, as long as the client is not a high D and on a time frame, right? We do 3 things when we go talk to a realtor. We do it every time. We go stalk them on social media, because I can tell anything you want to know about social media about you, right? We pick 3 important points, okay? So I'll give you guys some secrets how we roll. So we choose 3 things that are important to that agent. Could be a football team, could be kids, could be grandkids, it doesn't really matter what it is, okay? When we go to that meeting with that agent, we never talk about ourselves, ever. The first thing we do is, I saw today that you went to Coda. How was the Britney Spears concert? Did you see Britney Spears? Oh man, I'm a Britney Spears fan, just about alone. We're going to talk for about 15 minutes on that. As soon as they get done and that conversation's winding down, we go to number 2. Oh, by the way, I see you have grandkids. What are your grandkids doing? Man, you talk about grandkids, you can talk for 3 days about grandchildren, right? So once we wind down to number 2, we go to number 3. By this point in time, we're an hour into this meeting. Have we talked about us in any way, form, or fashion? Nothing. Okay? Now, I know you're taking this from me. So these 2 people are in the field every day. What is our success rate on those meetings?
Pretty high.
Pretty high. Would you say?
85, 90%.
85 to 90% of people will send us loans. Did we ever talk about us as a loan office?
Well, what's number 3?
Huh? The 3rd item, whatever it is.
Oh.
We choose 3 things.
Beard.
Beard. Yeah, exactly. Beard, whatever. And so we talk about the realtor. Right? Now, what have I done in that situation to get them to send me loans or send me business? And it's funny because we'll ask people, how do you think this conversation went? Now, what do you think they say? They're awesome. Best conversation I've ever had. And then they start feeling bad. This is where it gets interesting. They've talked so much about themselves that they start feeling bad about talking about themselves. Like, oh man, I've talked forever. Wow, I'm so sorry. This has been awesome. Tell me about your loan programs. Look, we do all the loan programs. It's fine. You know, we got everything available that you could possibly need. You know, the fact of the matter is, we really enjoyed talking to you. The goal of this was just to figure out if we're a good fit. Right? Now, what am I starting to talk about? Scarcity. Right? We don't work with everyone. Now, they've just gone through a conversation where they're really happy because they talked about themselves. Now they're getting to the point where I really like you. Right? You're awesome. You've asked me the right questions today. I'm a huge Cubby fan. Right? Let's talk about baseball. Right? Just as an example. Right? And so, now they're like, I really like this guy. This guy's like a solid 8 or 9 out of 10. I haven't said anything about myself. Right? And now I'm creating scarcity. I'm starting to back up. Okay? Now what does that do?
It draws the person towards you.
Yeah, it's like, well, okay, can you do, I've got a deal going right now, blah, 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 blah. I cannot tell you, out of every time I had that conversation, I'd say, for me personally, probably 60% of those conversations, I will walk out with a loan immediately. I didn't talk about anything, right? The reason I'm pointing this out is because I'm in there not to, my job, okay, my number one goal in meeting with an individual as a realtor or a builder or whatever it may be, on a mindset situation is money, okay? The reason for that is because I want to close loans with them. That's why we're all doing this. And so if my goal is this, I have to analyze what this person needs, okay? Social media tells me a lot. Now the biggest challenge is when somebody's not on social media, that can be complicated. But we always find 30 things that we pick out. It doesn't matter if they're on social media or not. We can look at pictures, we can look at all kinds of stuff and figure it out. And so then we give them themselves, right? That's what we concentrate on. My delivery is you. I'm going to give you as much as I can, right? Because most people in our business tend to have a high level of confidence about themselves, tend to have a good time talking to people. If you're not good at talking to people, you're probably not a realtor, right? Or a builder rep. Probably pretty good at talking to people. And so you get them on that track, right? It's very rare for somebody to get off that track once we start.
Question.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you use that same technique with somebody you absolutely just never met before?
Absolutely.
And it
100%
doesn't
of
ever
people.
come across creepy? Like,
No.
how do you know all that about me?
Well, there's a lot of
I mean,
techniques.
obviously you know at that point.
Right.
They've done what living
I
once.
clarify for people too, like, hey man, I was doing some research on all the great things you've got going on, and I see that you've got kids. That's awesome. Tell me what about your kids? I have 2 girls, right? Do you feel like that's creepy?
I would feel like it was really creepy if I just met you and you
That's
sat down and
interesting.
told me about my family, and yeah, I would be like, this dude's been on my social media. Like, he's probably not gonna fit for me. So, it is the way of the world. Right. Now, 10 years ago, I'd agree with you 100%. Dude, you're totally stalking me. How would you figure this out? Today, it's like understood. It's funny how people bring this up, because I'll have realtors tell me things about myself. Dude, you just went fishing. I'm like, oh, ding, ding, he's on social media, right? And so I'm like, absolutely we did, right? And I'll turn it back. I always bring it back to them. But you're right. So if I don't know something about you, am I preparing myself for my meeting with you? Yeah, but there's other ways that you can go and have that conversation
There
without
is.
stalking me on social media.
You're right. So, but I want you to think about this for just a second. We're looking at percentages, right? Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1 out of 15. So where are my percentages? Here, right? And so I know that I can tell that this is like grading you the wrong way. I can tell. Yep.
Why is my face red?
Right, yeah. It's grading you the wrong way. And so, again, I said that this was going to be challenging to some of your mindsets, for sure. My goal here is to show you techniques to generate business. It doesn't mean it works for everybody. It doesn't. You may encounter somebody that has a very similar personality and mindset to you, and that's fine. You have to, and you're going to fit perfectly with them. But can you modify your mindset and personality to fit like the Lisas who are all about social media, right? You've got to be able to do both, because you and I both know if you just concentrate on people that match your mindset, you've limited your pool. Your pool is very small. Versus I'd rather work in a pool that's the size of this room. So what I'm trying to do is give you some tools and techniques to fit other mindsets. Okay? I can tell you for me personally, if I sat down with you and you started talking to me about things on social media, my mindset would be, this person has done their research. Check box number 1. They're prepared. Do what? No, that's fine.
I think when we're gonna be working with a pool of millennials, they're gonna love that about you, that you've seen all their crap, because that's their MO. They want you to look at all their stuff. I don't like it. You don't like it because we're not of a particular age group.
Right.
I think it's kind of creepy too. However, in this mindset of going forward and working with these millennial people, they're gonna love that you've seen.
Yeah, they want to know.
You just have to
So
be
one question. So when I first met you at the coffee shop and we were talking about social.
You bought her coffee?
That's it.
Actually, he didn't.
We're just out there.
Yeah, go ahead.
So yeah, I remember you said, we're talking about my social media, my presence, and you said, yeah, there's really nothing special about your social media. I was like, oh my God, it smells so crushed. What do you think about it now?
It's way better.
It's way better. Okay.
Yeah, I told you, which is great.
Because I don't do the selfie thing. I'm like,
Yeah. So when I've had conversations with a few of you guys about social media, and that's another class that we're going to give later on. The building block to this is mindset. So this is your foundation to build a house. If you don't have the mindset, it doesn't matter what else we do. Okay? You've got to have the mindset to go out there and challenge yourself. You're going to get the mindset that I'm going to get over being uncomfortable.
But not all your business is going to come
You're right.
reset either.
You're
So
right.
you're going to have those conversations that you're going to walk up to somebody. You're not going to know anything about them. You're not going to have time in front of them to sit and search on social media. Oh, hey, I see you have 6 grandkids. It's awesome. I mean, it's just not.
So what I'm talking about is a very defined situation, right? And so what I'm trying to get you guys to think about is every situation requires something different, okay? But if you do the same thing in every situation and expect a different result, that's not going to happen. You have to open your mind to opportunities that are presenting themselves. And you're going to change your personality where you're like, okay, let's give this a shot, right? Now, I know you're struggling with that. That's fine. But you've got to create a mindset. You're like, you know what? I'm willing to look at other opportunities and give them a shot and see if they work. You're going to be surprised with what that does for your business, okay? So I had a very similar mindset to you before I started teaching these classes, probably about 11 years ago. And my business was absolutely suffering. This was before 2008. This was like 2005. And I'm like, man, I don't want to go talk to them. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to tell them about my programs and all these things, blah, 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 blah. I was getting no business. Okay? I made a mindset change, and I changed the way that I did business in 06 and a half, about halfway through 6 and a half. 2008 was the best year I've ever had, and that's when most people got out of the business. Okay? And so I'm not giving this stuff to you just on a whim. I can tell you that these things have been tried and true. These do work. These will work. It's a deciding factor as to whether or not you're going to implement the strategy. Okay? Yes, ma'am.
I just want to take a little of the creepy factor off for her. When we're looking at you guys as realtors, as somebody who we want to work with, we're also looking at your social media because we're trying to see how we can help you to improve your business. So
I understand
it's-
business relationship, yes. And
Yeah.
I can respect that. But just meeting, I'll tell you, some dude came to me and told me, they just searched me on social media. I'm telling you right now, I'd walk the other way like I'm done.
Oh, I have people
Conversation's
contact.
over with.
Sure.
I have people contact me on social media all the time asking for help that I've never met before. So you bet
Right,
I'm going to
and I
scroll
understand.
through their pictures and find out who they are before I meet them face to face.
And I understand that too, but I tell you, as a client, if I was to go and I'm going to purchase a home, and I just bought my home last year, I was to sit in front of my loan officer, and he just told me that prior to meeting me, he searched me up and told me all this stuff, we would have done business.
Now, this is not a situation for a loan officer earning your business. This is a situation of a loan officer going to a realtor. I get what you're arguing.
Okay.
So
business.
this is business to business sales.
Sorry, I misunderstood.
Individual to business sales is a very different model. And you're right. I would not search them out on
Okay,
social
good.
media.
So I was.
So yeah,
have
I hope that I clarified that for
misunderstood
everybody. Business to business sales is very different.
Yes,
I'm expecting
I agree
people to
with
do
that.
research
Okay.
on me because
Yes, I
why would I
understand.
give somebody an opportunity if I don't know anything about them, right? I want to make sure that they're a good fit, right? So again, how to have the best conversation with anyone, talk about them, okay? Okay, I'm going to give you guys some techniques in order to do good. What time is it? Yes, no calendar. We're going to finish it up right now. Yes, no calendar. Every day that you guys have, Monday through Friday, okay? What's going to happen is on your calendar, starting today, I'm going to challenge you guys to do this. If you met your goals that day, whatever your goals happen to be for that day, you write yes on that day. Okay? If they did not get accomplished, or whatever goals you set that day, you write no. Okay? This is a really easy thermometer for you to judge whether or not you're doing what is necessary to be successful in your business. Super easy. Okay? I'm going to go through these pretty quick. So that's number one. Number two is $1 million mindset. So when you get back to the office, I want you to post a note on your laptop, on your desktop, and I want you to write $1 million on it. And I want you to stick it to your computer where you see it every single day. Okay? It is your vision board, for lack of a better description, but it is on a Post-it note. You wrote $1 million in production. Okay? So your goal right now is to yes, no every single day. Doesn't matter what your goals are. I do not care what your goals are. It is for you individually to decide. Did I accomplish those? Did I not accomplish those? And then write down $1 million and put them on your computer when you get back. Because your job now is to start visualizing $1 million in production a month. Okay? We're going to go over your commitment. Okay? Stephanie, read the first one.
I am the only person that can change my mindset.
Absolutely you are. Okay? Mary, can you read the second one?
I choose whether or not to allow other people to affect my mindset.
Mm-hmm. Lisa, what about the third one?
Only I determine my level of success.
If I fail, it's because I choose to do so. Now, I don't like the word fail. Okay? And in this case, I'm going to use it because it brings to reality a picture. The only person getting you successful is you. Right? If I succeed, it's because I choose to do so. You are making a choice. Right? You can choose to be successful, you can choose not to.
Just change that to win.
That's right. I choose to have a growth mindset. I choose to challenge myself by getting out of my comfort zone. I commit to giving 100% every single day. Okay? Not everything that I'm going to give you challenges for in just a second is going to be comfortable to you. Okay? So, I want you to keep that in mind. Okay? I can't wait to see your success, and this is true. I want to hear about it. So here's your homework. Okay? This is what's going to be required to get to class number 2. I'm going to give you guys what the class schedule is for the next 12 months. Actually, it's 11 months. You have to ask 2 total strangers a week for business. I want you to add them to any kind of spreadsheet that you want. I don't care what the spreadsheet looks like. Name, phone number, what your point of contacts are. It makes no difference to me. The thing that I want you to do is I want you to have a mindset that every week I'm going to go out and meet 2 new people. Okay? Provide the spreadsheet with you to me. The reason you're going to provide it to me is I'm just going to ask you questions about your spreadsheet. Have you followed up? What does that look like? Was it uncomfortable for you to do this? What did they talk about? What kind of personality were they? I'm going to take 5, maybe 10 minutes of your time on the phone, and that's it. I also want you to complete your DISC profile and send it to me. Okay? And we're going to talk about your DISC. And the reason that's important is because you have to understand every other DISC profile to be very successful in this business. This is the schedule for the next 12 months. Now, in order to get to the subsequent classes, you must attend every class. I don't mean to be rude about that or disrespectful in any way, form, or fashion. We do this for a reason. You must complete your homework to get to every class. If you have a family emergency, kids sick, I totally understand. We'll work with you on that. But you guys are making a decision as to what your business model is going to look like and how successful you guys are going to be. Okay? So, if we complete all 12 of these classes, which I hope that all of you guys do, but the law of averages says that we probably won't, I would say that about 3 or 4 of you will hopefully make it through all 12 classes. I would be absolutely astounded if you were not at $1 million in production per month. Okay? I'm that confident in our ability to get this done. Mindset step 1. Okay? Next class is going to be taught by John. Scheduling for Success. He's an insurance agent with Goosehead Insurance, probably the most successful business scheduler I've ever met in my entire life. That dude is going to walk you through exactly how he does it, how he communicates. He's going to go through his calendar process. He's going to go through everything that you're going to need in order to solidify what your calendar should look like and how you block time and schedule time. And then, to give you an example, if I send him a client, it doesn't matter who that client is, I will get a response from him usually within about, I don't know, a few minutes, right? You don't use John. You use John?
He's quick.
He's quick. I mean, like, I'm surprised if it takes more than 10 minutes to get a response. Okay? Once we get past mindset and scheduling, then we talk about building business. Okay? Influencing past clients. That's a really cool class. We're going to show you guys some techniques that you guys probably have never thought of to bring clients to the table. Okay? I'm over my time, so I'm ending it. I apologize. We got caught up here, so I'm 5 minutes past. Thank you very much for coming. Expect a phone call from me every week. Okay? Hold on just a second. I'll answer your question. I'm going to call you once a week and see how you guys are doing. Now, the mindset that I hope you guys have is if I don't call you, you call me. Okay? I'm here to help you hold accountable. Okay? Make sense? Thanks so much for coming. Yes, sir.
Is this a business-to-business stranger thing, or like?
Which one? This is for individual clients as a realtor.
Okay.
So you're going to look for listings or buyers or whatever that looks like for you to get business.
Is it face-to-face or on the phone or both?
It's your decision.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you going to send them the link to do the DISC profile?
I will send you the link to this profile.
I did the DISC 19 years ago when I was in real estate school. Do you want to use that one, or do I redo it?
You'd be surprised how much you change over 19 years.
Yeah.
So it takes like 15 minutes. It's really cool because we'll do the one that, who's the big trainer?
Tony Robbins.
Tony Robbins does. Yeah. It won't take you but like 10 or 15 minutes. It's great. Anybody else have any questions?
No, that's
Everybody good? All right. Thanks.